A catch and cook? I had another request for a catch and cook. Well, let's see if I can make a catch, and then I've got a good new recipe to share with you. Stay tuned. The slot limit here and the catch limit is I can keep one, so I did, and that is the guy I'm going to cook up. So let me show him to you. Nice redfish here. Now the first thing to know on doing a good cook is you have to prepare the fish. So you may have seen some of the little blood trails on the side of that guy. I just finished bleeding them out. And it's important to bleed out these fish because the blood is what gives everything that really horrible fishy taste. And when I get back and I clean them, I'll show you the last step I take to eliminate as much of that blood as possible. Well, the tide is 2.9, which means I need to move from this spot. So I think I'll just pack it in, get this guy cleaned up, and then we'll do the cook part. We've got our nice fillets cut out here, and now we see we still have a significant amount of blood mass that we need to get rid of to keep the taste. But don't cut straight down because you can see the blood vein is kind of in a V shape. So I'll cut down in a V to the bottom. You can see that that's taken all the blood off. And then just do the same thing over here. You've cleaned it, now it's time to cook it. And this is such an easy recipe that even I can make it. And it's good for any fish with white flesh. We're going to use redfish, but it'd be just fine with cod as well. And the great thing about this recipe is that you don't need to manipulate anything with the fish. We're just going to make the sauce in this bowl, put it aside, cook the fish in a pan, and then when we're done, you spread the sauce on top of the fish, and I like putting it on the rice as well. That's why, even though the recipe doesn't call for as many ingredients, the amount of the ingredients I'm going to use, I'm going to throw in some extra so we have that for the brown rice that we like having with it. In addition, we're going to have a side of zucchini mixed with onions, and I like putting Italian season on that. Well, let's get to it. Let's mix up the recipe. I'll link up the real recipe down below so you can get that as a reference. Really simple recipe to do this sauce. You're going to mix some olive oil, chicken broth. I use this chicken powder, and this stuff is just fine as well. Some garlic, and then some basil. It's always better to use fresh basil, but you can see this plant's pretty beat up and scraggly. I've used it all up. So the good news is the basil in the jar works just fine. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Since I like putting it on the rice, I'm going to do 2 extras. You don't really want to go double on this because that's a lot of oil. So that's done. Next, we add a 1/4 cup of broth, and again I'm doubling up so I have sauce for the rice. So I've got a 1/2 cup there. Then it wants 2 minced garlics. To me that's, you know, a spoonful each, and then extra for the extra I'm making. And then finally add the basil. It wants a 1/4 cup, and basically I'm just going to pour a bunch out. I think it looks good. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of Parmesan. I'm going to blow that up to 3, again because I'm going to use maybe a little bit more because I'm using this on the rice as well. Then we just mix it all together and let it sit while we're cooking the fish. That's it for the sauce. Let's put it to the side. And now the only thing you need to do with the fish is sprinkle a little bit of pepper on there. And now we're ready to cook it up. Clean this up before I get in trouble with my wife. Sauce is ready, fish is ready. Now we just need to finish up our side of zucchini and onions. And what I like to do is cut these guys in half, and then I put a lot of Italian seasoning on here, and I'll mix it up to be able to distribute the Italian seasoning through the entire container. This is just going to go in the microwave for 4 minutes. So I will put that on when I'm about 2 minutes into cooking the fish. Now, final step, ready for the fish. I like to only turn it once, and for the last minute, to make sure it's cooked all the way through, I'll go ahead and put a cover on it. All right, everything done? Let's get everything dished out. Look at that zucchini and onions. You can see the Italian seasoning on it. It's going to be nice. And then we have the fish. Beautiful. And the final step is to take the sauce, stir it up a little bit, and spoon it on top of the fish. Got all that good Parmesan and basil there, and we like having it on top of the rice as well. And you can see what a beautiful meal this is going to be. There you go, a catch and cook as was requested by one of my viewers. If you guys have some great recipes, hey, throw the links down there, because after being married for 45 years, I'm stuck doing all the cooking now for some reason. Take care.